Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the GE Refrigerator Defrost Thermostat. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new defrost thermostat. The defrost thermostat is located in the freezer section, and it's what tells the defrost system when it gets too warm during the defrost cycle. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's gone bad and the defrost cycle isn't working. In order to get to the part, we have to open up the freezer door and remove all the shelving. First thing we're going to do is take out the ice bucket. All you have to do is lift up on it and pull it out. To take the shelves out, you have to pull them out until they hit the stops and then lift them up and guide them the rest of the way out. Once you have them out, you can set them aside. To get the bin out at the bottom, just pull it out and lift it up, and then pull it out the rest of the way. Now that we have all the shelves out, we're going to take the light lens out. There's 3 screws behind it that we have to remove to get the back panel off. We're going to take the light lens off to get it out of the way so we don't damage it. Once you have the screw out, you can slide it to the left and take it out. With the light lens out of the way, we can reach in with our Phillips screwdriver and remove the 3 screws that hold the top of the panel in. With the upper 3 screws removed, we can use the 1/4 inch nut driver to remove the 2 on the bottom. Now that we have the screws out, we can pull the panel down a little bit and reach up and grab the top of the panel and guide it out. You're just going to pull one side out so it clears the rails, and then you can pull it all the way out of the freezer. Now that we have the back wall out of the way, we have access to the defrost thermostat. It's clipped onto the evaporator line. You want to very carefully lift it up so it releases from the line without damaging it. Once you have it off, then we can untangle it from the wires, and it goes into a plug that's not on its own, so we're going to have to cut this defrost thermostat out and splice the new one in. So we're going to grab our wire cutters and just cut off both wires and pull the defrost thermostat out. Here's the old defrost thermostat next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. Before we put the new defrost thermostat in, we want to trim the excess wire off of it. They give you some extra depending upon your application. We're just going to match them up and get about the same length so it puts about the same amount in the refrigerator that we already had. So we're just going to cut both wires off and strip them off. Once you have both wires cut to length and stripped off, we can put the new defrost thermostat into the freezer. The manufacturer doesn't give us any connections or heat shrink wrap on this one, so we're going to use butt connectors and some heat shrink wrap. If you have wire nuts and electrical tape, just do the best you can to protect it from moisture once you get the connections done. We're going to put these on first outside the fridge because it's hard to get both shoulders in there and crimp everything together while it's in the freezer. So we're going to at least get it started on this side to make it a little bit easier. So all you have to do is put these down onto the wires and crimp them into place. Now that we have these put onto the defrost thermostat, we can put it into the freezer. First thing we're going to do is snap the new defrost thermostat into place right here on the evaporator tube. Just want to reach in and carefully snap it into place. Once you have it in place, then we can route the wiring around, and we have to strip off the wires that are in here. So we're going to strip them back a little bit so we can connect them with the butt connectors. Now that we have the wires stripped, we're gonna put the heat shrink over the wires so we can put it over the connections later and shrink it down. Once you have the heat shrink wrap on, we're gonna put the wires through our crimpers on this side, and then we're gonna put the wires in. Make sure you go orange to orange and pink to pink. Once you have it in place, then you can crimp it. We can get the pliers out of there and carefully do the other one. Now we can do the heat shrink tubing. We're going to do one at a time and bring the heat gun in here and melt it down. You want to be careful that you don't melt any of the other wires, and carefully shrink it in place so it stays where it needs to be. You want to reattach any of these wire harnesses that may have come out of their clips while you're in here working. Once you have those pushed back in place, we can put the refrigerator back together. Now we can put the back wall back in the freezer. You want to angle it in there just like when we took it out, and make sure that you don't kink up the gaskets on either side. Once you have it in place, we can reach down in there and lift it up so we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put in one of the top screws to hold it in place. Once you have one screw in, we can put the other two in. Once you have the 3 screws in on the top, we can use our 1/4-inch nut driver to put the screws in at the bottom. If the second screw hole doesn't line up, you may have to reach in and flex the panel a little bit and line it up. Now that we have the back panel installed, we can put the light lens back on. To put the light lens back in, we're going to line it up at the end of these rails and lift it up into place so each end comes up, and then we can slide it to the right and put the screw in. Now that we have the light lens reinstalled, we can put all the shelves in. To put the lower bucket in, all you have to do is line it up on the supports and push it back into place. Once you have it in place, we can put in the 3 shelves. Now that we have the shelves put back in, we can put the ice maker bucket back in. All you have to do is line it up with the shelves and push it back into place. Once you have it all the way in, you can close the freezer door. Now that you have the new part installed, you can plug the refrigerator back in and make sure it starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.